Hey guys, so I love trying out new things on this channel, and I recently got hold of these play markers. These are by AK Interactive. As you can see, a whole array of different colours. I will leave links to where you can get these from. I got these from Jadlam Toys and Models, so I'll leave a link down below. But yeah, play markers. So a different way of, well, obviously turning our plastic grey miniatures into, well, not plastic grey miniatures. So I'm going to give these a try. You can get a whole variety of the colours, obviously the big box set and some smaller box sets. And yeah, I'm going to try them out. But rather than try these out on a small miniature, I wanted to try them out on something a little bit bigger as my first little play with these. And obviously, I love Dungeons and Dragons. What better than the original sort of cartoony Dungeons and Dragons? So I'm going to go at painting these because obviously they're nice and bigger, flatter sort of surfaces. And yeah, something easier for me to try out my first time using colour markers, which would be pretty cool. So taking them into Slice and Software, because I'm going to obviously print these out. I will leave links to where you can get the miniatures as well. You may notice, though, this isn't the usual sort of software I use to turn my STL files into printable miniatures. And that's because, well, I've got a new printer to have a little play with as well, which is just awesome. Because that's one thing I really love about this hobby, is there's so many new things that come out for us to have mess about with. So the printer I've got, as you can see, is this. It's the HALOT-X1, which is currently being backed on Kickstarter. Again, I'll leave all links down below. But as you can see, yeah, a lovely looking machine. And this one has a few different bits to it compared to, well, a lot of other 3D printers out there. One of the first ones, obviously, I love. Got a nice metallic sort of tray here. Really nice, chunky, nice bit of weight to it. But the bit I love is obviously these clips on the side. One of the things I really hate about some of the 3D printers I have is those long screws that take forever to screw that in. So having those clips is great. And the other thing different with this, yeah, the build plate. As you can see, it's got these little bits in it that stick out when pushed. So yeah, basically this is a new way of releasing your model from the build plate. Rather than having to scrape it off, which is what we always do, yeah, you just twist these paddles at the side, it pops off. So the thing itself, it goes on there, but it actually locates by when this printer's working, it gets held in place by 4 little clips at the side. Again, something new and innovative, if I can get the words out. So I'm going to use this standard resin, but it's 16K, again by Halo. Yeah, and we're going to give this a go and see what this is going to look like. So obviously I'm printing out some relatively plainish looking sort of basic miniatures. I am going to use this and print out some more highly defined miniatures in the future as well, though, just to sort of try out its 16K sort of look. So when I do get these 3D printers, I never really do like a full review of them, as I am more your plug and play kind of guy. So I don't need to know all the specifications of what this thing does. I just need to know it will plug and play. And that's why I don't do any calibrations, any settings, any of that sort of stuff. I literally get my miniatures, put them in, and push a few buttons. So this is literally straight out of the box. There's no leveling involved, which is awesome because that's something I used to hate with the old printers, getting that sheet of paper. But the other thing you'll see here, which is very different from this to other 3D printers, and that is, as you can see, rather than the build plate going down, you've got the VAT and the laser light underneath it coming up. Something completely different, and I think this is the first time I've ever seen this in a 3D printer, which is really weird to see. But I believe it's doing this so there's less stress on the miniature when it peels away from the build plate. That's what I think. Again, look it up, guys, because I'm very much a layman when it comes to these kind of things. Yeah, I don't need to know how things work. I just need to know I can push a few buttons and it's going to get the job done, which in this case, it did absolutely perfectly. Obviously, I've sped this footage up. It doesn't go this fast. It is relatively fast, though, for printing these sort of size miniatures, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so this is straight out of the box, me getting the image, taking it into their slicer software, and popping a USB in, chucking a bit of resin in, and away it goes. And I say, it really is weird to see, well, the actual VAT move rather than the build plate. But it works. And again, like I say, that's the main thing that I want, something that works and works really well. And obviously the fact that this thing is got an orange cover makes it even so much better for me because, well, orange is my favorite color because it makes me feel happy. So they printed out really, really well. I've not done any testing or anything with this. Excuse the state of my top. This is my old top now I use for painting. So I think this is pretty good. It comes with this little tray that just slots in. And as I say, this one has the build plate. It has these little levers either side that you just sort of push up and down. And they sort of push off the miniatures, which again is something new, something great, because that is something that I hate doing, is scraping some miniatures off, especially terrain pieces where there's a lot of adhesion to the build plate. Yeah, you have to really scrape really hard, and I've stabbed myself on a few occasions. But yeah, the little levers on the side, things just pop off. Say I'm going to print out some small miniatures just to see if they get released just as easy, as well as printing some terrain bits. But say the actual printer itself, yeah, it looks lovely, works really, really well. And yeah, miniatures have come out really, really well. So the resin, yeah, it's worked out really good. Say there's obviously not a lot of definition in these, but I will be doing smaller miniatures soon. But what it does have, the flex, and this is something I love. Instantly, when you pick up a miniature, sometimes they can feel like they're made from ceramic. And they're the kind of ones you know, if you drop it, you're going to lose a sword, a shield, a weapon, maybe even a head. But this resin, yeah, there's a bit of flex there, which is really good. It does mean I know if I'm going to drop the miniatures, which it does happen more often than not, they're just going to bounce. So I've got some bases ready. I've got my little painting handles ready. Obviously printed out some more of the wonderful D&D miniatures. Didn't do the Dungeon Master or the little unicorn thingy, but I've got the main characters. So these are the ones. Say I'm now going to have a go at 2D painting, 3D miniatures, but using markers. Yeah, again, that's why I love this hobby. I mean, you guys know I love this hobby, because otherwise I wouldn't be here 4 years later with this channel if I didn't love what I do, and I clearly do love what I do. So these pens, yeah, it's acrylic paint on the inside, and to get it down to the nib, so this is you can tell this is the first time I'm using this. You don't unscrew it; it just slides off. It's got a little button at the end. You push that, it releases the paint down towards the fine tip. Again, as you can see, first time using it, made a right old mess on my desk. So when I do it again, you'll see me use it with a bit of cloth. And then it is just a case of painting as normal. So the paint does release from these really, really well. Some great coverage there. And it does feel like it's a brush. Admittedly, though, the brush size, this is definitely like a medium to large sort of size brush. So how well I'd be able to paint something small, I'm not too sure. Again, for this video, I just really wanted to try a larger miniature just to get used to these brushes, or these pens even. I didn't want to paint a small miniature and then sort of not enjoy it, because I just wasn't used to holding this. Although that being said, obviously you hold it like you would a pen. And yeah, I'm sure we all know how to hold a pen. To say coverage, the paint comes out really well. Definitely a lot of pigment to it. Apologies, it's not in shot there. That's where, again, I forget sometimes I am painting or filming even, because I'm just loving what I'm doing. So yeah, the paint comes out really, really well. You can get a relatively fine sort of line with the very end of the tip. Again, it's one of those things, practice kind of makes perfect, or certainly makes things easier because you know what's going on. And yeah, it is a case of just practicing. But yeah, I do love the fact that you can use markers to turn your grey into coloured miniatures or coloured sort of objects or whatever it is you want to paint. And I say the coverage, all the paints, there's a nice big variety in the big box. So yeah, guys, again, don't forget to check out the links down below. And I wanted to give a big shout out and thank you to Jazlam Toys and Models for sending me these paints free of charge for me to have a little play with and mess about with. But again, guys, everything I do sort of use, show, and whatever on this channel, whether I'm sending it for free or I'm paid to talk about anything I say about anything is my own words. Yeah, I'm never told what to say. I never do scripted videos either, which I'm sure is pretty obvious because I do waffle, and throughout my videos quite a bit. So yeah, anything I say is my own words. If I like something, then I'll say I like it. If there's something I don't like about something, then yeah, I would say that too. So everything you see is an honest opinion of what I think and feel of the things I'm sent. Again, that's something I really love about having this YouTube channel, which I never realized when I first started doing this. This channel was just a way of keeping busy, because I started this channel during the second lockdown here in the UK. And rather than getting bored, not doing anything, obviously I picked up some paints some miniatures and started painting, which is why I'm still doing it now, nearly 4 years later. Absolutely love what I do, but love the fact that, yeah, I am fortunate enough that I get sent things to try, which again, I love trying new things because obviously that's one way of learning new stuff. And it's always fun because it keeps this hobby nice and fresh. So I wasn't too sure with these paints how well you could paint over a paint with, well, another paint using the markers. So that's why I've kind of gone with a lighter colour first, and now with the darker colour, I'm sort of doing this in the recesses. Whereas normally, whenever I do have a go at 2D painting a 3D miniature, typically I would do the lighter colour first, sorry, the darker colour first, and then do the highlights afterwards. But say I wasn't too sure how well the paints would go over them. So this is the first time of me ever trying these kind of markers. And these AK Interactive real colour markers, yeah, I must admit, say the paint flows really well, has good coverage, and dries, well, like your normal kind of acrylic paint does, which is pretty cool. So I think next time if I did have a go at doing this sort of 2D style, yeah, I would do the darker colour first like I normally do, and then do the lighter colour over the top. As these paints, yeah, they really do sort of go over each other really well. So I mean, I guess you could kind of use this as a combination with your sort of paintbrush, and have some of it used with a brush and some of it used with, well, a marker pen, which is just pretty cool. So yeah, so this is where obviously I wanted to have a go at doing a lighter colour, only because, well, the blue I used, I didn't have a darker blue, so yeah, I've had to go over with a lighter one, and the lighter one, yeah, goes over perfectly, which is really cool. So yeah, definitely do the lighter colour first, how I normally would, and then the darker colour. So say it does take a little bit getting used to sort of painting with a pen, but yeah, yeah, I must admit I do kind of like it. The only problem I think I would have is the very end nib. It's obviously not as fine as some of the brushes that I use. That being said, I am going to have a go at painting a 32mm sort of normal kind of miniature with loads of detail. Obviously with this sort of paint though, I would paint it with this, and then I would have to use a wash over the top, just because obviously my preferred style of painting is more grimdark, rather than being nice and colourful. So to finish off these things, yeah, it's just a case of going over with the black, well, again, black marker, highlighting not highlighting, but going over all the edges, and then doing a few sort of like hash lines here and there. But again, guys, when you try this thing out, as you can see here, I'm not being too careful at all. If I get thick lines, it doesn't bother me. If I get thin lines, that's great. So that's the one thing I used to always worry about when I first sort of painting, was trying to make things perfect, or comparing yourself to other painters. And I think it's the worst thing you can do. As soon as you stop comparing yourself to other people and just have fun with the hobby, then yeah, it makes it so much easier. And as Bob Ross says, you have happy little accidents. Although hopefully not too many of them. But yeah. So before we get on and show the final result, again, just want to say a big shout out and thank you to Halo as well, or PioCreat, for sending me the HALOT-X1 for me to try out. Say it's not out yet. There's a Kickstarter that's still going until the 1st of April. So click the links down below to find out more information about it. But again, for using a printer straight out of the box, this has been perfect. And the fact this has got these new innovations to it, I love the fact of the actual build plate has those little levers on the side, being able to sort of twist those and the miniatures falling off. It is just awesome, because I hate it. I hate scraping miniatures off, especially sometimes. Yeah, you really have got to give them some welly. But yeah, this works really, really well. So the resin, I am going to do some small, finer prints just to see how well that 16K resin looks. But yeah, overall, first time using this out of the box, it's done a perfect job for what I need. Again, more details down below, because I'm not the kind of guy that goes into it does this, it does that, all this and the other. I just like to know, plug and play, it's done the job. And there we go. Yeah, 3D printed miniatures painted in a 2D style using marker pens. Yeah, whatever next. But they work, and they work really well. So definitely be having another go with these in some other miniatures. Again, guys, check out all the links down below. Thanks for watching to the very end. It means so much. And you can like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that good stuff, as it does help me out so much. And I know I can drop these. These aren't going to break. They're just going to, well, bounce and wobble. Anyway, I'm going to start waffling soon. Another video coming up on the screen, guys. Give that a click to see more of what I do. And yeah, you guys all take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.